what I want to show you now is a sample attack, which you would do during your combat phase. So, during my combat phase, I am going to declare my attack. You only get one attack phase during your turn, but you can attack several different people if you're playing against more than one. So I am going to declare an attack. Julius Caesar is going to attack Barak, and I'm going to send a physician against the city of Jazer. So my opponent now gets to declare what he is going to do during his defense. He can take the defense with Barak. He could put a follower card and block Julius Caesar from attacking his person. He could throw the fatlings in front of the attacking army if he wanted to sacrifice those. Or he can move Barak inside of his city, or he can move him inside of his fortress. So he has several different things that he can do. If he decides to move his defender inside of a city, for example, now my card that's attacking Julius Caesar is going to be in combat, not with Barak yet, but now he has to fight the city, which has a defensive value of 3 and an offensive value of 1. So now he has to attack the city. It just basically redirects that attack. The physician, he's not going to do anything. He's just going to take the attack on his fortress. Now, this physician only has 1 on the offense, so it would do 1 point of damage to that fortress. And that fortress has a 4 on the defense. So basically he would have 1 point of damage on that fortress, and he would deal back 2 points of damage to this physician. Now, this physician only has 1 on the defense. So if the battle remains as it is, once that combat phase is over, this only has 1 defense and he took 2 points of damage, he's going to be put back in my discard pile. But there's 1 point of damage that remains on his fortress. Now you may ask yourself why you would do something like that when he couldn't destroy that in that turn, but I could have other cards in my hand, such as Torch the City or Traitor, and there's other cards that you can play that will actually do additional damage to that fortress and possibly even destroy it. Now, as this battle over here goes on, whoever is the defender, when you put him inside of the city, basically now I have to deal with the city garrison before I can get through to that defender. So I do 2 points of damage to the city of Ebenezer. He would actually do 1 point of damage back to Julius Caesar. And that's it for that combat turn. So when it becomes his turn and he resets his cards, these cards are still in combat. So the damage counters stay on those cards that are still in combat. This damage counter comes off of that card because at the beginning of his turn there are no combatants. It's completely free of combat. So it's a rebuilding, so to speak. So all damage is removed. Now during his combat phase, you do the exact same thing that I just did because they are still locked in combat. But he also has a choice to, if he had another army, for example, he has Commander Abner, if he wanted to add this card and attack into Julius Caesar, because they're locked up in combat here, he can do that. Or if he wanted to use this card and declare an attack and come over and attack one of my fortresses or cities or followers, he's free to do that as well. But we still have to resolve this conflict that started on my turn. So at the beginning of the combat, his city is going to do 1 point of damage to Julius Caesar, and I'm going to still do 2 points of damage back to his city. Now, his card, Barak, that's in that city cannot attack until this city has been destroyed. So it will be the next turn. So what happens is we resolve the rest of the conflict. If he had attacked over here, then we would resolve that conflict. But at the end of his turn, this city has taken more damage than it has defense for, and that would go into the discard pile. So now what happens, these 2 cards are now in combat. So when it is my turn, which is next, We go back into the combat phase again. Now is when I do 2 points of damage to his character. He does 2 points of damage back to my character with the Julius Caesar. If that combat remains the same and nothing else, there's no healing cards going on, then my card took more damage than what he has defensive value for, and he would go to my discard pile, and he would have 2 points of damage on him until the beginning of his next turn, in which time that card would be healed. And that is a sample of combat.